Hello guys, in this video we will create a Python application that will automatically find your images in a specified folder and group these by ID or month with one click in a second. The Python code will be clean and flexible in terms of your personal needs. Step number 0. Find all images in your directory. Let's have this situation. We have a lot of images in your directory and each image has its own timestamp. For example, 2020 December 24, as you see right here. So let's come back to our main directory and we need to create a Python script right here. So we'll create it as app.py. Okay, it's created. Now open it up. I will use Sublime text. You can use your own Python editor. And the first step in here is to import the modules and the packages. And we will use an OS module. It is a standard Python module for operational of system. And we need to define the extensions. Extensions means the format of images that we will need to recognize. And it is formats like PNG, JPG, and you can define your own formats that you want. The algorithm will find. So it is my list. You can use your own. And the next step is to build a procedure to find files or images with specified extensions. Yeah, it is I think the engine of our project, and the procedure name is getFilesList, and in here we pass root directory, and extensions. So we will save our file names in the list. This file list is so far it's empty list, and then we will iterate through root directory, through folders, and through file names that we will find in our subdirectories by using os.walk function. And then we will iterate through file names that we will find. And here, if any of extensions will be found on file names that I'm writing right now, then we will make an action. And action is the simple. We will append this file name in our file list by including root directory and the file name. We will join it. And finally in here we will return the file list in outside the procedure. Simple like that. Okay, now we can to run our procedure. We're doing like this. We will save all the images in my image variable, and we will go to get file list procedure. So we're passing image directory and extensions. So we need to print our results. It's a list of images and the length of images. Okay, let's check it what is happening inside. Python run application now. Okay, we have a list of images including root directory, and the length of images is 33. Step number 1. Extract timestamps of images. So in this step, first of all, let's define our actions, what we are doing, the comments at the very beginning of our codes. So the step number 1 is get timestamps from images, what we are doing right now. And we're starting this step by defining a procedure that will do the job, that will parse file names and extract the timestamp. So image timestamp procedure is using a file name, and in here we need to make some rules. File name example is like real image For example, we can copy and paste this file name, and as you can see, it has a timestamp in the middle between underscores. You can see years, month, and day values in this file name. So we need to return different values. And first of all, we need to split our file name by underscore, and we need to cut it out what is on the left and on the right in our file name, and we must leave what is in the middle right here. It is a timestamp. So then, as we did previously, we have to call this function somewhere here before we need to define the file list of parse. It is a list which saving our timestamps, and then we are appending this value by calling this function image timestamp, and we pass an file name, and as a result we returning a file is parsed, and we can print it out what is timestamp of our images in the same way we did previously. Let's do like this and check it out what's happening. So we have a timestamps, here is original names, and here is a timestamps of our image files. That's all for this step, and go to the next part. Step number 2. Extract values of timestamps. It is a year, month, and day. So in this step we have to build another procedure that will do the task, and this procedure will extract years, month, and day values from a timestamp. So our procedure will call like get timestamp values, and it requires to get a timestamp. Okay, so in this procedure we return some extracted values from a timestamp. It will be a year, it is 4 symbols, it is a month, it's another 2 symbols, and it will be a day, it's also another 2 symbols from 6 to 8 index of our timestamp. Let's look deeper into this timestamp. For example, we have an image file, we remove what is outside the timestamp, and we know that the first 4 symbols are year, next 2 symbols is month, and next 2 symbols is day. So we write it as in Python syntax with strings, and this simple like that. Next, we need to define where we save our values. It is a timestamps. It is a list, means timestamps. Now we have a tree list, and on the top of that we define a dictionary where we storage year, month, and it will be a day, because this kind of data, it's more convenience to storage not in a simple list but in dictionary, because we have a 1 timestamp and 3 values for this timestamp. We call get timestamp values, we passing a file name and timestamp from its file name, and finally we append this dictionary to the timestamps list, as we're doing right here. And yeah, the same as we did before, we return this outside to the algorithm, and we can do the same before calling this function. And I think it's very nice to make a data frame that consists of our timestamp values. For this we import a pandas, it will be a pandas data frame. and let's check it out. Okay, and let's run our Python script and let's see what's happening. And we see a Pandas data frame consists of timestamp values. It's year, month, and day in a simple table. It's very good start. And step number 3, make connection between timestamp and images with a single data frame. So before doing this, let's write at the action what we did in the previous step, because we missed it. And then the current step is to make connections. So write it down at the comments at the top of our code. Okay, so in this step we collecting all the values into one dictionary, in the same dictionary where we saved the year, month, and day. Now we including file name, timestamps. Yeah, for timestamps we are using the same function that we used before. Is the image timestamp. We passing file name. So, and the last value that we including into our dictionary is a path. For this we are using os join function where we joining root and file name, and all these features will be included in our Pandas data frame. So let's check it. Yep, run it. And yeah, we have all the features corresponding the timestamp and folders and file name into one single data frame that we wanted to achieve in this step. So it's working fine so far. So see you on the next part. Step number 4, clean the code for a little bit. So in this step we need to clean the code for a little bit because we are in the middle of the journey, and in order to make the next step more understandable we need to clean the code in this moment. So we need to rename our main function. So we need to get image data, not the file list. We need to rename this function, so not a file list, we have image data. And the next thing what we have to do is to use only one list, not 3 lists, but only one list, and it will be a raw data because we included a lot of features in that, and it is not a file list. So we have to remove this list accordingly. And this is also a raw data that we will use. Okay, it is the same list. Then we are returning also only raw data. This is only one list that we are using. It is a list of dictionaries. So, and it is the main data that will be extracted by getting image data procedure. And so print it out the result for checking. And yep. Okay, it's a name error and my image parse is not being used. Okay, so we need to remove this print statement. Yeah, removing, because we are not using this variable. Let's run again. Okay, it's working the same as in the previous step, but with much more cleaner code. So see you on the next part. Step number 5. Assign image file to folders. So in this step we simply create a procedure that will create folders for our timestamps. For example, if we are storing files by day, it will create folders by day. If we are storing images by month, it will create folders for month. So in our scenario we will create a timestamp folders for days, and for this we are writing our procedure right here. Yeah, and our procedure will be create folders for our timestamp. And remember, our timestamp is split by a day. So if we have some timestamps, yeah, if length of timestamp is more than 0. Okay, let's do like this. We will create a temporary folder where we storage our grouped data, our grouped images. It will be a temporary folder. Let's say it will be a temp. So, and if this folder is not existed before, we must create it by this line. Yeah, it is os.make directory, and we will create a temp path folder. Okay, let's print it out to the terminal that we created a temporary folder successfully. And then for each timestamp we need to create a folder. So we iterate each timestamp we are having. Yeah, we are having from what is passed to this procedure, and we are creating a folder including a temporary path and a timestamp. Yeah, and print it out to the terminal that our timestamp folder is created successfully. So if we have, let's say, 20 different timestamp, it will be 20 folders for our images. So okay, let's print it out the unique timestamps that we are having. It will be correspond to created folders in our system. Okay, and let's call this function. So if we have some data, then we are calling this function. We are wanting to create folders for our images by our timestamp, by a day. So let's do like this, and yeah, and we need to check it out. It is timestamps, and check it out what we are having right now. Okay, it's a k error about timestamp. It's somewhere in the dictionary, I guess. Let's check it. Yeah. Okay, remove this s. Let's check it out again. Yes, it's working, and directory for our timestamp is created successfully. It is a list of our timestamp, and this is messages to user that we have folders. And as you can see, we have a temporary folder, and each folder corresponds to our timestamp. It's working. So this is all for this part, and see you on the next part. Step number 6. Move image files to assigned folders. In this step, we'll create a special procedure that will move our images to a specified timestamp folder. Yeah, let's write it down here. And we need to write a function that will understand where a given image should be moved. So let's write a procedure move files, and before doing it, we need to move a temporary path value at the beginning of our code. To make the code a little bit more simplified, we remove it from inside the procedures, because temporary direction is not changing in full the algorithm. So when we are moving files, we are iterating through original files. We are iterating through file names, and we are iterating through the folders. So let's use a zip function in Python for doing this kind of iteration. So we are iterating through a path, through file name, and through calculated timestamp in previous steps. So let's print it out about the progress. Yeah, for this I'm using a f-string. I think it's more flexible for such scenarios, for such application, and I printing out the number of file. So let's output the message that we are moving image from this original file to a specific folder, and the specific folder, it is temporary path plus a timestamp folder. Yeah, and next to that we will put more stuff in a minute. So before this we need to make some additional things, and one thing is to call this function sequentially to create folders, and let's check it out. Yeah, we made a syntax error in iteration. Yeah, let's do it again. Okay, and we see that it's gonna be work, and yeah, directories are created, and we are looking to the messages. This image is going to be moved to this folder, this image to this folder, and so on, and this image to this folder. It's looking that calculating is good, and then we can continue writing our procedure. So let's come back to our code. Yeah, where is that? Here's it. So we remove this comment and continue writing the function that will make a movement from original file to a new directory. And as I mentioned before, the new directory is temporary directory and file name. Okay, let's check it out. And look at the folder. Okay, it's the original one, and this is a temporary directory, and we see that our images are moved to correct places, to a correct timestamp folders. That we wanted to achieve, and it's looking very nice so far. Step number 7. Delete the original folder. The purpose of this step there is our requirement to save a disk space, because if we have a lot of images, it takes a lot of disk space on my computer, and if we successfully handling my images, so the original folder is no needed. Okay, and what we are doing right now, we will build a special function that will remove the original folder. Okay, and we are deleting the original folder with this function, and yeah, write it down on our action plan. Yeah, delete original folder, and yeah, we are passing our root directory. It is images, and for this we are using try and except definition in our Python code, because if in the scenario that we are inside the root directory, it gonna cause an error. So we are trying to remove a root directory. Otherwise we are printing the error on removing the root directory. So yeah, and for remove we are using os.remove directory function. It's quite simple, and before doing it with original folder, let's test it on test folder. So we are commenting these procedures. We are not needing it right now because we are still testing, and delete the original folder passing root directory. And now I'm testing on empty test folder, and it's removed successfully. Okay, if it's removed successfully, I think we can apply this function to original folders in our project. So it is in the same sequence with others procedures. So we are removing test directory, and let's run it on the original structure. Yeah. And okay, it's error. I don't know why, but it's error and it's not deleted. Okay, maybe it is because my computer issues, so I need to think it out a little bit. I'm removing this in here because it is in outside the procedure, but it's not making any change, I guess. Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, I have the original images in here. Let's try again. It's error again. Okay, let's think a little bit about it. Again, it's error. Okay, I think I need to restart my computer. And let's see. Oh, it is a syntax error right here. Let's look at this. It's working nice. It's removed successfully. Yeah, I just made a very simple syntax error. And now I have a temporary directory that my images are correctly moved in. That's very nice. Step number 8. Make the code more systematically. Add name variable and the argument to the project. So let's write it down what we will do, and we will make the ability that you can specify the name of your original folder from outside the application. It's more flexible if you share your application with your friends or colleagues, and the name of image folder is different. So I think it's very useful and worth to be integrated into your project. So first of all, we have imported the argparse module, and we need to define our parser. It is argument parser without arguments, and next to that we need to add long and short arguments to our parser. Yeah, from technical point of view, it's not a parameters, it's arguments. Yeah, and we need to add arguments to our parser by this command. It is my images with 2 dashes, and short argument is with 1 dash, and the help message is what are my images, please provide a folder name. It's this help images will occur if a user wrongly type argument name. So next we need to read these arguments from a terminal. For this we need to define this action by parser.parse args without any arguments in here, and then we are changing our root directory definition. It is not static, and we will changing it by reading from a terminal. Next to that, we will adding a main variable, a main function to our project. Many programming languages have a special function that automatically executing when operating system starts to run a program, and the Python is not exception, and for this we are using name. Okay, it is very useful when you're trying to integrate your application into another one program or project. So it lets you to control your part of project. So in our terminal we see that our file tree is correct, and then we run our application. Is nothing happens because we didn't pass arguments, and help messages where are my images and please provide a folder name. Okay, let's do like this. We will provide a folder name. Yes, and our folder name is images. Okay, it's working in the same way as we did in previous step. So only one difference, that now our project is more systematically prepared. Step number 9. Write summary to Excel file. I think it's the simplest step in our tutorial because we want to save our summary to Excel file with only one line of code. We will use Pandas dataframe. So, and we write a very simple procedure to do this task. It is save summary. We are passing a data. Yeah, and the data will be saved to Excel file. It's summary Excel file encoding UTF-8, and that's all. Just print it out that our data file is saved successfully to Excel format, and yeah, and we add this calling to procedure and run it. Yeah, summary has been saved, so let's check it out. Yeah, the file is here. Open it up. It's working. Now we can see all important details about our status, about what the project is doing in Excel file. That's simple like that. Step number 10. Make a helper submodule for the project. So when our code is working fine and we are finalizing our project, we can build a submodule where we put all our procedures that shouldn't be in one place with the rest parts of our application. So you will see how it's looking at the end of this part. So before this we are create utils.py where we are going to move procedures that make different task. For this we just make a copy and paste of our procedures that we made before in previous steps into utils.py. Yeah, into this one, just copy and paste, and we are using the same libraries as we used in our main code: OS, argparse, pandas, and yeah, these three modules that we are gonna be using. And write some information at the very top of the code. These submodules work with our application and prepared by me. So come back to the main code. So we can to remove everything from here. Yeah, we are removing all procedures from the main code. Instead of this way, we are importing utils module from outside. Import everything. This star mean everything. Yeah, we have util file, application file, that looking nice, and then we can to test it, how it's working together, these two files. Yeah, now our final code is looking like this. Yeah, it's looking correct. Let's check it out. Let's look. Okay, it's looking nice. And yeah, let's run it. Okay, temporary path is not defined. Yeah, we have to copy and paste some definitions from the main code to utils module, because they are using this values. Yeah, predefined constant and temporary path is temp. Okay, let's run again. It's working fine. Yeah, it's working fine, and our code now is looking much more readable and much more simple, and it's working together with our custom submodule. Now we have only 28 lines of codes. That is much more readable, and you can share it with your friends, with your colleagues, or move your application to another computer. Okay, let's test our application on another computer which has a different operational system. It is a Windows OS, and here's my directory. It's about 200 images. Each image has its own timestamp. So let's try to run our application, and keep in mind that now the folder name is different. It's my child, not images, but my child. So we put this argument into my images argument name, and let's run. We see that it's running, and as the result we see a summary Excel file. Let's check it out. Okay, it's open it, and you see all the details inside in very readable format, in readable structure. So okay, this part is good. So open the temporary folder, and you see, yeah, you see the images moved to specific places, to specific folders accordingly to its timestamp. For each day I have a set of images made on that day that I wanted to achieve with this application. And in this video we made Python automatization project which help you to group your images based on your timestamps. I hope it was useful, and never stop learning. See you on the next videos. Bye bye.